I heard God's voice and he said to me, I know you've been suffering a long time and if you want to come home, like, you can, but he said if you stay, you'll be able to help them with what is to come.
Today's video is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. If you've ever been seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions. Morgan & Morgan doesn't settle for lowball offers. They've achieved some of the largest verdicts in recent months, like $26 million in Florida and $12 million in Philadelphia, far exceeding insurance offers. Their fee is absolutely free unless you win. Morgan & Morgan is committed to fighting for you if you become their client. If you've been in an accident, you're only a few clicks away from potentially changing your life. You can check out www.forthepeople.com/theotherside to submit a claim today. Morgan & Morgan will fight the compensation you deserve if you become their client. And remember, fighting big companies requires a big law firm. Morgan & Morgan is ready to take on insurance companies of any size. You can check out Morgan & Morgan today at www.forthepeople.com/theotherside or click the link in the description below. Don't wait. Take the first step toward protecting your rights.
So hi, my name is Pontea Dianati. I'm a spiritual healer and a doctor of psychology. I've been, working in the field of psychology, healing, education for, almost 20 years now, and I've kind of switched between the different fields. I'm going to start my story, I think, with my near-death experience that happened 2 years ago. That seems to be what everybody wants to hear about first. So about 2 years ago, I went in for a surgery because I'd been very sick for 6 years and no doctor could figure out what was wrong with me, and I had excruciating pain in my body to a point where I couldn't even get out of bed, for 3 to 4 days a week, and that was happening for 6 years non-stop. So the days I was feeling better, I would work, and the days I didn't feel better, I would just basically be in bed, crying and talking to God. And so 2 years ago, it had gotten so bad that one of the doctors, the surgeons, was like, let's do a surgery, open up some of these things in your sinuses, maybe that'll make some of this intense pain you're having get better. Morning of the surgery, I had a very bad feeling. My intuition was telling me something wrong was going to happen that day. So I prayed to God and I said, God, whatever happens today, I'm going to surrender it to you. And that's a very powerful protection prayer that I would suggest for anyone. If you're ever in danger or your loved one's in danger, say, whatever's about to happen, I surrender it to you, God, to be of service. So I said that prayer. They put me under anesthesia. I came out and I felt so much worse. So the pain before the surgery was already horrible. After the surgery, my brain was swollen. I did not feel good. They told me everything was fine. They sent me home. 2-3 days later, I sneezed and something stretched and cracked. That's what it felt like. Something was stretching and cracking my brain. I fell to the floor and I couldn't even move. I called my mom somehow on the phone. I just said hey guys, I think I'm dying. Somebody should come here. That was kind of what's happening. So they got there. They took me to the ER. At first, they just thought I was having a headache from the surgery. But then they did a CT and I had 30 air bubbles all in my cranium. So that means the doctor had cracked my head during the surgery, did not tell us, so he hid it or he didn't know. And then the bubbles had gone in. And so I ended up staying in the hospital for 6-7 days. And I was just by myself alone. I think family came for an hour or something like that. So I was just praying to God, talking to God, and at some point, 2-3 days in the hospital, I went to the other side. And when I went to the other side, I saw a beautiful heavenly world where I was seeing all the demigods, Buddha and Mother Tara and Yogananda. They were all dancing in a spiritual essence dance, and they were on a mountain. I remember I was so happy because I didn't have any pain. I just want to come here. I just don't want to be in that place anymore. I just want to come home. And I heard God's voice, but I didn't see God's face. And I have to clarify that. So I heard God's voice and he said to me, I know you've been suffering a long time and if you want to come home, you can. But he said if you stay, you'll be able to help them with what is to come. And so I kind of thought about it a little bit, and I was fine. I kind of felt a little guilty, I guess. I came back. After then, when I came back to the hospital room, and I was kind of just what's going on? And nobody was there. It was just me alone, alarms going off, that kind of stuff, because I was in the ICU. And ever since then, I just was really giddy. It was that joy I got from that heaven realm just kind of stayed with me the last 2 years. And then I started to just kind of, have more spiritual experiences and things like that. So that was the NDE that happened 2 years ago that I feel did shift a lot of my spiritual path. Because before the NDE, leading up to it 2 years ago, I was a spiritual kid, like as a kid, I was obsessed with God. I would go to the mosque and I would pray. My parents weren't religious, but they were good people. They had pure hearts, like they believed in God. And I think that did give me that like opening. But I was like crazily, obsessively obsessed with God, where I was like staying up all night as a 9-year-old praying, just talking to the God and just like basically just like trying to be friends with him, get to know him. And so that was kind of my life as a little kid. And then I moved to America when I was 12 from Iran. And, I lived a normal life until middle school, that kind of stuff, bullying, that kind of stuff. But then I was like 18, 19, I started getting into spirituality again. I started like, read books and see auras and chakras, things like that. Went to school for psychology, so I started to like understand psychology, started to heal myself, started to work in schools and psych places. And so that was kind of like my spiritual path. And so it was always leading up to certain moments. But 2 years ago, I think the near-death experience, what it gave me was that like the doubt I had about God completely went away. Like up until 2 years ago, part of me thought it could have been my imagination. Like I could have been talking to God. It was all my imagination, all these synchronicities. My logical scientific side could kind of like negate it. It was like there was like this battle thing. But 2 years ago, when I heard his voice and I realized it was the same voice I'd been hearing since I was a little kid, the same feeling, the same love, the same tenderness, I was like, God is 100% real. So that doubt disappeared. And I feel like that was the biggest shift in my consciousness, because that doubt was always like weakening me. It was like I believed in it, but there was always that room like, what if it's not real? So that was, I think, the shift with the near-death experience. So if you're on the planet right now, we've gone through trauma, okay? We all have. This planet is basically like a prison planet where we're all stuck, okay? So if you've been on this planet, you've gone through trauma, whether it was your family, your teachers, doctors, friends, society, political system, it's just that kind of a planet, okay? None of us are perfect, none of us are healed. What do we do about it? We all have to heal ourselves. We have to heal ourselves. When we each heal ourselves, the vibration of the planet is going to raise. Because like if my aura, the trauma start to leave, right? The more of God's light comes in, I start to shine more. Then you start to heal yourself, your aura starts to shine more. And then every one of our friends and all of our starseeds friends and light beings, they all start healing themselves. It's almost like all these little suns turning on the planet. And the planet right now is super dark. There's some lights turned on, but it's not enough. But if everybody heals themselves, which we can all do, which is what we all have been doing, and then the trick is this, we have to stay on the planet. Because if we heal ourselves and we get all that light and then we ascend and leave, what's going to happen? The planet's going to be dark. So the trick is this time we're all going to ascend and we're all going to stay on the planet this time. Apparently the reason it didn't work out with Atlantis and Lemuria was that we didn't stay. That's what I was told this week, that people were raising their vibration and then they were just leading the planet. They were evolving, ascending, becoming one with God, whatever you want to call it. But this time around, we want everybody to come to their maximum level self and stay on the planet. Hence the light will grow and then the darkness will literally dissolve. So that's the plan moving forward for all of us. So how do we heal ourselves? So there's the body. We have to heal the body. So if you're having physical symptoms in the body, go to your doctors, get checked out. If the medical doctors can't figure it out, go to your Eastern doctors. If your body's hurting, follow that pain, okay? Emotionally, there's a lot of changes happening in the world. We're all going to be going through changes. So you might be feeling emotionally a little like this, okay? So do whatever you can to bring your emotions to an even keel. Everybody's going to be different. Some people might be painting, some people might be writing, some people might be dancing, some people might need to scream, some people might need to do martial arts, some people might need to do sports. Get your emotions in like an equilibrium state. Have to do something every day. But when your emotions are intense, don't suppress them. That's really big one, because emotion is energy in motion, right? So if you suppress that anger, you suppress that sadness, you suppress anything, then one day it'll just blow up. And the more we kind of let it out a little bit at a time, the more we can have full mastery over our emotions. So the body, the emotions, then we're going to go to the spirit. How do we heal our spirit? Okay? You could say that a lot of people are feeling weary right now, right? But we've been doing this a long time, since 11/11/11. The energy's kind of turned up and all of us have just been going hardcore, healing ourselves, doing all this stuff. The stupid COVID thing hit. They try to create division. Politically, they've created division. So we've all been just like in this duality, just trying to be love and light. So we're weary. Our spirit is a little weary. So what heals the spirit is God. There's no other way to heal the weary spirit by God. And don't worry about religion. God doesn't care what religion we are. Sorry to say that if that upsets anybody. There's one God and he exists in all the religions. It's the same soul. So talk to him and talk to the Divine Mother, because he's also created the Divine Mother. They're both very real things. So if your spirit is weary, talk to God. But I'm tired, my healing is taking a long time, or having a difficult time with this. This is really a time to spiritually heal ourselves by getting closer to God. And you can go to angels and your guides and your galactic guides too, of course. We all have teams that are helping us. But what I was told by God is always come to me first and then ask me to send you help. So you want to always go directly to the source. Whatever you call it is okay. So body, emotions, spirit, then there's the mind. We have to heal the mind. Our mind is being programmed constantly by false stuff, okay? You know how something is false? You will know something is false when you hear it. It just won't feel right. Really be aware of what your mind is telling you and if it feels right, or if your mind is telling you things that feel paranoid, sad, fearful. Sometimes we have to be sad or fearful because the danger is coming, so don't ignore your emotions. But be aware of the mind and what programs it's running on a day-to-day. And the only way to heal the mind is meditation. There's no other way to heal the mind. I'm so sorry. I studied psychology for 13 years, clinical psychology, all that stuff, but you can't heal the mind with psychology. Because why? Because with psychology, you're just analyzing it more. Like, oh, my mom hurt me, then my dad hurt me, and then I became this way, and then my boyfriend did this, and then my girlfriend did this, and then my friend did this, and then this did this, and it's like you're just analyzing. Psychology is just like analyzing. But the mind will only heal when it's silent. So we have to train ourselves to just sit in meditation 15 minutes a day. I know that's like hard to do. I've had many days where I've skipped my meditation too. But right now, imagine we're in the middle of World War III for our world. So right now, meditation would be really important not to skip, just to keep the mind calm every day. Just keep yourself calm, because there will be lots of changes, okay? So mind, body, emotions, spirit, and then the fifth one, energy. We have to heal our energy body. So that's like the chakras, Reiki, pranic healing. There's so many kinds of energy healing. Go to people that when you look at them, they have joy. Because if people don't have joy or peace, like in terms of their healing, right now, we need people that have that kind of thing. Makes sense? So go to powerful healers that are super stable. There's lots of them all over the earth. I'm in San Diego. I also see people online. But the most important thing is to make sure any part of you that's not healed gets healed. That's the most important thing for saving the planet, is healing ourselves. And then so we heal the energy body, and so we work on the chakras. It kind of goes into the different dimensions. So you can work on your heart chakra, but it's not just healing your heart chakra. It could also be healing a physical problem in your heart. Or by healing your own heart, suddenly your mom or dad could heal, because we're connected to our family. So just like I was saying earlier, like if we raise our light, the whole planet will light up, right? Like each of us kind of turn it on fully. With our family is the same. Even if we have family members or friends or people that are totally against everything we believe in, our light will bring them back to who they really are, because everybody is that light, which is the light of source. Make sense? So focus on yourself, focus on healing yourself, and then being of service to humanity really is the most important thing right now. And people will come to you for help, and be sure to help the people that come to you. I always tell healers, people, like, don't turn people away if they don't have money. Don't turn people away, like, if at first you don't know what to do. Like, if God is sending you people to help you, that is your test. And when you help people, you will also be helped. It's kind of what I've seen. So like karma works both ways. I was told that all the star seeds are set to awaken at a particular time. So it's not like you have to worry about, am I going to awaken? Am I not going to awaken? Is that wave coming? Is that wave not coming? It's going to be all on time release. And so the 22 categories of star seeds that are on the planet right now, some are good, some are not good, but the ones that are meant to awaken and help the planet, it's all going to happen on time release as we're healing ourselves. If you've had trauma as a kid, whether it was physical trauma, emotional trauma, sexual trauma, like I had all of those, right? So when we have those kind of traumas, sometimes they turn into physical illness. That doesn't mean that physical illness is here to stay. But if you notice you have certain physical illnesses or different things are happening, pay attention to those parts of the body, because that's probably where the trauma is stored. So like if your liver suddenly hurts, that probably means you have anger to process. If your lungs are hurting, it probably means you have sadness to process. So that would be really the best advice right now I have in terms of like healing ourselves. That was coming to me. The traumas always do happen for a gift. I will say that. So like every single one of my trauma that I experienced in my life, always something really good came out of it, right? So when I had my first sexual trauma, a little kid, I was 4 or 5 years old, Ever since then, I could see the underworld. So that was the gift of it. I experienced a horrendous thing with a demon. But after that, the gift was I could see inside of people. I could see who people exactly were. And then I was 4 or 5 years old. Now I'm almost 40. So it's like that was the gift of that trauma. And then all the other traumas I had, it was the same way. So I would encourage everybody, I know some traumas are so horrendous, it's even hard to even say that, but try to look at the horrible things that happen in your life and be like, what was the gift in it? Because I promise you, if God allowed it, it was going to be some kind of an intense power was going to come to you from it. That was probably going to help yourself and humanity. So it never happens for no reason. When I was younger, I had times where I would get mad at God. I didn't understand why the bad things in our world were happening. But later, as I got older, I understood God more. I understood that a lot of things that are happening in our world is more the law of karma, so the more we're aware of what we're doing, what other people are doing, we can prevent a lot of things. So the law of karma is like gravity, so there's no like God doesn't impact it. In fact, God often comes in and helps people to like take away some of their karma because he and she feel that. So they actually come and go like, let me take this on for this person because look, they've been praying so much. I don't want them to go through this karma for 30 more years. So if you are dealing with really intense stuff, pray to God to lighten your karma. Say, I accept my karma, but please also help me to bear it. That would be a good prayer. And ask the Divine Mother for grace so she can send you this beautiful silver grace energy that helps with breaking through blocks that might be there a long time, that might be hard to break. I do want a little bit talk about the shadow because I think the shadow is very misunderstood. We all have a shadow. Okay, the shadow doesn't mean I'm evil or you're evil if you have a shadow. The shadow is like our animalistic side, so think like each of us have an animal inside of us, and the animal can be tamed or it can be super vicious, so it can be like a dragon that's like your best friend, sits next to you, protects your friends, or it can be a dragon that like burns people, yells at them, it's mean to them, it could be a girl, guy, whatever. So your shadow is like your animalistic nature. And it's like so much of our powers in it. So it is important for us to master it and understand it. And the other part of it is to understand it in other people. Like when I love someone, whether it's my friend, family, coworker, I'm loving them with their shadow. I'm not saying I only love your good parts. I don't love you when you get angry, or I don't love you sad, So people's shadow is going to be complicated. Everybody's going to have parts of them that they might think is unlovable, but by loving our own shadow, our own unlovable parts, then when we see other people act out, we can understand, oh, they're just having a bad day. Like I had bad days like that too, So the shadow inside of us, the shadow around us, I would say it's my hardest thing that I've had to deal with, to learn my own shadow, other people's shadow. But I would just suggest for everybody to just notice other people's shadows might get super triggered in the next few months. So just hold space for it, that people are just going through stuff, and just imagine we're all 5-year-olds having temper tantrums. That would be the best way to look at everybody. Thank you so much for listening to my story. Everything I've presented here is just my opinion and my experience. It's not the truth. Please follow your own truth, your own inner guidance, your own God self. If anything I said resonated for you and you'd like to contact me, my website will be there. All my sessions are donation based, and I look forward to connecting with you all. Stay strong. Remember, we're each our own bright light, and as we all turn it on, we're going to be able to really help the planet and do our plan. We just have to stay strong. We all forward with velocity eyes, staring muscle at the sky. We all forward with velocity eyes.